As we go through and we're starting to define a couple of different components of our model. And the last lesson we talked a little bit about our value metric, which is part of what we're charging for. Our value metric is charging for what our customers value or a proxy for that value. Now we went through some different examples like Slack charging for active users, Dropbox Pro charging per user per month, MailChimp charging for contacts, Twilio charging for messages, and something like Uber charging for trip length, miles, and time. Now what we want to do is move on to the second step and talk a little bit about the structure of our price in our model using a similar max diff survey. The price structure is the different segmentation of features we want to charge for. So you can think about a typical subscription or B2B product, which has multiple different tiers with different combinations of different features and options. So if we went back to our example of Leadpages, we would use the same max diff survey structure. We would ask, what features do you find the most valuable and the least valuable, right? And they would make a selection, forcing them to choose some of these options. What we'll end up with, once again, are these max diff values from -1 to 1. -1 means that most people chose it as the least valuable feature to them, and 1 means something that most people have chosen as the most valuable. And what we can see here and what starts to emerge is very clearly what features did the users find the most valuable. But in order to understand where we would place this within our price structure, in other words, how we would define different tiers of our pricing and our model, we would need to segment based on a number of different factors. Here you could see that we segmented based on persona. Maybe our persona is really defined by company size between small businesses and large businesses. And as we segment, what we're going to start to see is how the feature values differ between these segmentations. We'd probably find things like larger businesses find features around security much more valuable than smaller businesses sort of relative to each other. So we can start to separate the features into different tiers, into different pricing packages in order to understand this structure a little bit better. Now, if you don't have a product where you have different pricing tiers, you can use this same exact method to understand, well, what elements of the product should you be displaying on your homepage or on the product page, right? Understanding that priority. What this survey is telling you is what are the things that are most valuable to that end user. So if I was an e-commerce company selling some sort of product, I might define a few different features of that product, understand which ones they find the most valuable, and emphasize those on the product and landing pages in order to increase my conversion over time. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about the third step here around pricing and defining the pricing structure, which is our price amount.